Residency Estate is a gated community located in Old Yundum, proudly developed by Swami India, perfect for all looking for a quiet life with luxury amenities within an enclosed setting. When talking about the benefits of living in a gated community, safety and security is top on the list. They allow extra privacy, take away the hustle of unwelcome solicitors, and create a safe haven for children to play in a trusted environment without traffic or speedy vehicles. A great sense of community develops through the meeting at a controlled communal leisure facilities, offering an integrated lifestyle. A green environment and well-managed communal areas are keys to higher home standards, elevated quality of life, and better property value, should you consider home reinvestment in the future. Added to all is the location, just next to the airport and reconstructed main road, yet tucked in the tranquility of nature. Our purpose is one: your satisfaction. Contact us. Let us help you build your dream home in the Gambia.
Hello and welcome to another edition of my show. Today I am home. I feel so comfortable. I am here in Lamin Village. If you know, I'm a Lamin girl, but I'm here at a very special place, Starfish International. This organization 15 years ago was established by a great daughter actually of this village, Mam Yassin Sarr. Mam Yassin went to St. Peter's High School, went to United States to further her education, and she came back to invest in her community. Today I'm here to look at the Starfish International, what programs they do. And of course, I'll be having a sit down with my big sis, Mam Yassin Sarr. Kon gay toppalen ma.
Welcome to Starfish International. Thank you so much for coming.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. So I am Hadi Gay. I'm a mentor at Starfish International. Starfish International is an organization that started in 2009, about to celebrate our 15-year anniversary next year. So in Starfish International, we have 5 Starfish qualities that we believed in, which are independent, courtesy, knowledge, and service. And one of our main pillars in Starfish International since we started is knowledge. And that is why we have the Starfish International Library. So the Starfish International Library is a community library that is open to everybody. I believe.
Hi, how are you? Thank you. How are you?
We're fine, thank you.
Great.
Yes, I believe the library is the first community library in the Gambia that I believe that started, and it's open to everybody around the Gambia to come get books, read, but also we do various activities in the library because our mode of education at Starfish International is totally different from what we do, what others do outside. We believe that education doesn't only last at the 4 corners of the classroom, it goes beyond and after that. So we have adult literacy classes at Starfish International. These are adults from the community that don't have the opportunity to go to school, but we teach them basic English and maths to help them. We also have the kids that come to the library from nursery school, upwards, so they come and have after-school classes with the Starfish mentors and also other people that want to volunteer at the library. Also, I believe for the Starfish library, there are various impact in how it helps and develop us. And Alpha Omar Jan is the library coordinator. I will have him share how the library have impacted him and what is one tool he used at Starfish to help himself.
Yes. Hello. My name is Alpha Omar, as he said. I am the library coordinator, and the library has impacted me since I was a student. Joining the book club and being the library coordinator, doing my public speaking and writing poems. So this year, our team is family, and I will share a piece titled Family, and it goes. Mother said that family is a treasure beyond measure, a home of love beautiful as the Garden of Eden, in the land of love where hearts unite in unity, an ark wheeling in its space to the unknown yet accepted, an armor of millions unbreakable, a chain bound heavy and indestructible, where hearts intertwine boundlessly. It is that bond that builds, connects, and unites spiritually. A sanctuary called family where souls find peace, a place called family where dreams come through, like the starfish with arms open wide.
Thank you. Thank you, Alpha. Nice. That was a great piece. So we recently celebrated the Starfish International Festival, which is a fundraising event towards helping the Starfish mentors, providing them with school fees. So the Starfish mentors are the primary educators at Starfish International. Yes, so this is the library and it's open to anybody.
Everybody.
Yeah, anybody can come and have classes, textbooks. Yeah.
That's my school actually, St. Peter's.
What?
Yeah, I went to St. Peter's.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes. So we believe so much that the organization needs to be financially and intellectually independent among our 9-year goal plan. So that is why we founded the Starfish International Skills Center. Yeah. So the Starfish International Skills Center is also another component of Starfish, where we have people from the community that don't graduate from school or either graduate, because everybody believes that the only mode of education is to sit in a class. Yeah. Yeah. So this is the skill. This is one of the component. This is the art component of the Starfish Skill Center, and we have various classes in the Skill Center. And one of those classes is tailoring. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah. So here is Janaba. Janaba was a Starfish International student at the Skill Center. She graduated and decided to come back and teach the following students at the Starfish Skill Center. And this is year 1, right?
Year 2.
Year 2, okay. So they have from year 1 to 3, and this is the year 2 class of the sewing. So what do you do in your first year?
We do crochet and embroidering and tie and dye, and then after that we do baby dress for year 1. But right now these people are year 2. Next year they will be year 3, and then these people they can make this simmons and daggit and the other stuff. They used to do tie and dye also, and embroidering and crochet also.
So I see the class is all girls. Is this a all girls?
All
skill
girls,
center?
yes, all girls. But we have one man here. She's a catering right now.
Yes, so it's open to guys, but most of the times we don't have the boys come in to do these skills. So most of the times we have the girls come in, and also Starfish. We believe more in girls' education and empowering girls and women. So we are really happy that we also have a good number of the students being girls.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Majority is the girls.
Okay.
Yes,
Great,
because
that's
of the
nice.
men's when they came, they left because of the girls are the majority here.
But it's good to empower women.
Yes.
So that's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Nice
Thank
to
you
meet
so much, Janaba.
Okay, welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. So this is year 3.
Welcome. I'm good, and you?
So this is year 3, and Mohammed is the one taking them. So Mohammed, what activities or what kind of sewing lessons do you do with these people? You can speak in Wolof.
Yeah.
So normally, because what we have in the skill center, these are people that don't get the opportunity to do either formal education, but they have skills, and we bring them here and have the students that don't even speak English, at least learn skills to be financially independent and help themselves. So you can speak in any language.
Yeah.
So maybe loling de defi na kale.
Yeah, we have sewing here and sewing theory, crochet, embroidering, you know, anything. Pattern, arts and craft, tie and dye. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mohammed. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
All right, thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you people? So this is another class at the Starfish Skill Center. You people do cookery, home science, right? Yeah. So basically here is the classroom, and I believe their kitchen and what they do. This is what year? Year 1. Okay. And this is also one of the teachers and a student who graduated from the Starfish International Skill Center.
Yeah, we are having a practical here.
Yes, okay. Come. Nice wood. Hey, nice. Oh,
Hello, guys.
hello. Yes.
Thank you so much.
So yes. So Mama Kujabi is the founder of the Starfish Skill Center. Yeah.
Hey, can I try you? Can you just come on your post? Come on your class.
What are Uncle Sana? Thank you.
Do we have to say first one, or do we have to say Nehna Nehu? Wait, why do I have the same knife going through all three? FT, are you a chocolate person?
Not really.
There's the much.
Yeah, but let me try with the chocolate. Just to see.
This is their exam.
Oh, this is the exam. I don't want anyone to fail though.
Nobody deserves to fail. Yep,
That's
Nehna.
what I'm saying. Yep, and
Yep, FT, go.
Sugai perennial and marking and out.
I like this a lot.
Who did that?
It's fine.
Everybody.
We can't use the cake knife. What do we use?
I mean, I love all of them, but I like this.
You have more to take home. You have more to take home.
Hey, take home that mama. Alright, so how do we try this? Okay. Mine, I'm also going with that one.
This one, right?
Yeah, but I like all of them.
I like all of them, but yeah. But
I think, what's that, custard?
feels more.
I'm more of a custard person. I love the chocolate too. Presentation, that one. And that
Yes,
one is just, yeah, simplicity, that one. So,
That one.
I forgot that one.
I chose this as second.
I forgot, I have to go to that one again. What's that, strawberry?
Yeah,
Beautiful, thank you. So what do we use to cut? We want to split the pie? Oh, you're not trying the pie?
Okay.
Do you have a knife?
So you do group work.
Yeah.
Oh, it's group work?
They are 4 years students.
This,
Oh, these are
first year
Ah,
you
you guys are doing that.
second year Dubai. Then you're in Europe. No, I'll cut it. I'll use the fork.
Use this other one. Okay.
Thank you.
That really tastes good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So welcome to the Starfish International Art Gallery. The Starfish International Art Gallery is also another community for artists around the Gambia. It was started because of a young girl called Rose Mendy. She is right now at the Gambia College. So Rose came to the Gambia from Portugal, but after she was here in the Gambia, she was finding it really hard to communicate with people because she was not able to speak English as her first language. So one of her major tools was she used to draw, and Auntie Yassin believed that it was important to create a space for Rose, or girls like Rose, or young people like Rose from the community who have passion for something else and be able to find Starfish and see Starfish as home. So the art gallery is open to any other artists around the Gambia. You have different paintings from Mama Africa, Uncle Njogu. So everybody, normally what we do is we have money sip and support where people come to the art gallery, look at the painting, either have a conversation and also support the paint. And right now, Otto is the coordinator of the Starfish International Art Gallery. So Otto, maybe tell us how this art gallery has impacted you as a mentor at Starfish.
Yes, welcome to the gallery. As she rightfully said, my name is Atobonogwe. And then coming to Starfish actually exposed me to art, and then in a way in which I never had the passion for art. But when I got to Starfish, I started doing some little creativity, and then that got me to the gallery. Because the gallery, the main purpose of it is creativity at all aspects. So being here actually helped me to come up with ideas, being creative, and then go to the internet and then look up things that I can make, and then create and help the students also build up their passion if they have the interest in art as well. So the art gallery also made me to connect with people, get to go to places and then see other individuals, got to be at other art galleries and see how they display their products. So basically what this art gallery has done for me is to expose me and to give me other ideas as well.
Yeah, so Otto is right now studying journalism at the University of the Gambia, but he also do decoration, which is a side different from what he does at the university. And yeah, because of the art gallery, as he said, he got exposed to those, and we are so proud of you. I think. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So one of our recent development at Starfish International is having the Starfish International Dunda restaurant and spa. Yeah. So welcome to the Starfish International Spa and Salon. Okay. So basically this also because one of our goals this year or in this upcoming 9 years is for the organization to be financially independent and for us using what we have in order to fund all the activities at Starfish, and that is why we came up with this salon. And this salon is open to everybody around the community. So we name it the Classic Spa and Salon. And also, we also have people from the skill center that are doing hairdressing. So normally they come here for intern, and they basically do practical of what they are learning. And we have community people who also come in order to use this place, and it's open to everybody. If you have a skill and you want to implement it, or you have a passion for spa or hairdressing or anything that is related with using your hand, you can come here and the place will be open for you. Yes. Interesting. So here is the spa. We are also working on it in order to make it ready for people to use. And right now we haven't started implementing or doing any stuff here because we recently opened it, but it's open for anybody to come. And there is the waiting room. So here is the waiting room, yeah. While you wait, if you have customers, in order to avoid this place being overcrowded, yeah. So Dunda from our love word meaning to live. So we named this restaurant and after Dunda because we know that most of the times if people talk about restaurants or places where they can go and sit down, like a mother who spent all their day in the house cooking or taking care of their kids, they never have time to just sit down and take care of themselves. And we want to bring this restaurant at a local community at Lamin where we live to have everybody get access to whatever people are getting around Senegambia or anywhere around the other part of, to just basically feel that whatever they need, they can have it here. So the restaurant is open. So most of the chefs we have here are young people from the community. So right now we are having a woman and a man that are cooking here. One comes in the morning and the other one comes in the afternoon and the evening to basically take care of everything that we are having. The restaurant too is another way of funding the organization and making the organization financially independent. And here is the first floor for kids, and the lounge is upstairs. Yeah, so here too, we want to open it for people. You can come have your business or official meetings here and just basically have a comfortable place where you can hang around. And yeah, yes. Yeah, so these are some of the paintings from the art gallery and some of the footages that our media house took and framed and put it around here. Yeah, so there is a group of the Starfish family, the mentors. Yeah, and those are paintings from Mama Africa. Yeah. No, these are photos that Rene Moses took, the media house coordinator. Hello. And friends. So this is Chilal.
Hi. How are you? Oh, nice meeting you. I'm good, yes. Good to see you. Good to see you too. How are you? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is Chilal. She's the manager of the restaurant. So now we will go to the...
Thank you, Rose. Thank you so much.
Okay, Auntie Chilal. So this is the Rahmani Educational Center. So downstairs here we have the Starfish Mini Hall, and upstairs we have the Teranga Hall, which is open to all our events because we have 100 students and 30 boys. So we use upstairs to have normally our Saturday meetings. And today, also we do various activities, like we have various components like ICT, which I run. So right now we don't have an equipped lab. More of what we do is more of teaching the students orally basic things they need to know about computer science, and we are hoping that by the end of next year we will have a standard lab that will be open to the community to come. And also another component we have in Starfish International is health. So our CC is the health coordinator right now at Starfish International. So tell us about the health program and what you do, your goals, and more of your objectives, and how do you help the students?
Thank you very much, Hadige. So you're welcome to Starfish International. Like Hadi said, this is the health station. So at Starfish, we have three main goals. One of them is health, education, and agriculture. So when it comes to health, mostly we look at people-needed health because we know financially, we are not financially strong. And most of the time that our government don't invest a lot of money in terms of health. So we don't want people to come with their problems to the hospitals because we don't have enough resources. So as Starfish, we want to look at how to help the people so they don't get to that stage. And that comes in the education to help them so they know about the health condition, they understand about it. And most of these things can be hypertension, diabetes, or even gastritis because most of the Gambians, especially Gambian teenagers, they like eating spicy food, the ebe, fufu, and stuff like that. And because they eat those kind of food, most of the time, they don't eat a lot of healthy food, and most of the time it causes gastritis to them, and they have a lot of health issues. So because of that, we try to educate them about these things so they know about it and will not go to that state where they go to the hospital and always struggle with medication, but we look at how to help them before they get to that point, like they know what they can do to prevent themselves. So aside from that too, we teach them basic skills like the skills that we have here. So like a student can be there checking somebody's blood pressure, and whenever that they get from this, they can use it to also go and educate their people at home. For example, if Adama today is the one checking Auntie Mariama's blood pressure, she can use it when she goes. So if her grandparents are having hypertension, even her parents, they can use those skills to also do it at home and not just have the skills and keep it to herself. But the bigger picture for us is not just to do these things for the community, because usually we go out because for the past 14 years that we've been operating, but we have a lot of Starfish alumni who are doctors, nurses in different hospitals right now. But we also want to have a Starfish clinic where we can have all these people come forward, provide certain health services that are not found anywhere else in the Gambia. Because everywhere that you go to the hospital, it's the same thing. Sometimes it's expensive for the people and they cannot afford it. But we want to be able to provide them affordable healthcare services. And this can be in terms of counseling, because mostly we don't have a place where you can go and get counseling from. But staff is one of those places where even at right now, what we do with the students is we provide hard lessons for them, where they can sit and talk about things that they're struggling with, how we can help them as a family. But mostly what we do is just to be there and listen, because all that we know is that, for me personally, growing up, I didn't have that. But when we have a place like that, then they know that can help them as they're growing up. The other thing is that healthy food, how to eat, like if you have hypertension, food that you should eat, food that you're not supposed to eat. Have a center there where people can see people like that, like dietitians that can be there to also have them. We also want to have a gym place where people can come. Yes, you can have and come and have a guy that can help you. This is the healthy workout. You need this if you have a heart condition, like this is good for your heart. This is what you can do if you're having something like that you're not supposed to lift heavy weight, that they can tell you this is what you should do, this is what you're not supposed to do. That is our bigger goal. So we hope by next year we can have a clinic where we can provide all these health services as well. So I'm going to have Adama, she's going to check Mama's pressure to show Auntie Mariama's blood pressure, because this is what we want for more guys to do, because we realize that we don't want to wait until when they're done to do this for their people. But they can do it as they're going to school, and then their parents can see that whatever they're learning is being of benefit to them.
It's normal.
You want to do mine?
Yes.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
So this is the last station. So from the spa and salon, most of the students they come here. Assalamu alaikum. Sorry. Yeah. 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 So these are the hairdressing students. Most of the time, the students at the spa and salon. From here, they go there for intern to basically show what they are learning. And this is Auntie Therese. She is the teacher here. Yeah.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
This hairdressing level 2. We do braiding, we do head tie, we do makeup, we do so many things. So many things here.
And it's end of term too, so they are working on the report books for the students. Yeah. Thank you.
Sani land. So we started in Lamin on that campus.
Yeah.
And then when we acquired this land, it has a lot of cashew trees and mango trees.
Okay.
And so a lot of the time, all the time when we come into a community, we gather the women and we look at what do we have that the women can benefit from. Because we know the family can directly benefit from that.
Yeah.
So if there are cashews here, the women can come and help pick the cashews. And so when they're picking the cashews, every project we do, we divide it into 1/3. So 1/3 goes to you, 1/3 goes to the land, and 1/3 goes to the scholarship fund.
Wow.
So when the women come, then what happens to their kids? So we thought, okay, we'll provide education for their kids. We'll just do after school study classes that they don't have to pay for money-wise, but they have to pay through service projects. So when a mother comes here and is picking cashew, if they pick 3 cups, they get 1 cup, the land gets 1 cup, the scholarship fund gets 1 cup.
Wow.
If their child comes here for after-school classes, then to earn that, we would have them teach the other children some skill that they have. So if the mother is really good at traditional Manjago dancing, then she comes and several hours a week she teaches it to the kids. So the kids all have that skill or that talent.
Wow.
If they know how to do a small business, let's say selling yassa, they come and they teach the kids that. So that way, the mother doesn't feel like this was a charity that was given to her. She feels like she earned after-school study classes for her kids. So when we brought the kids, we started with a few kids. We didn't have a classroom. And we had this 20-foot container at Starfish. So we brought the container over here. We concreted the floor. We put a roof over it. And then we brought a young Gambian painter to come and paint it. And we opened it as a library and put shelves in it.
Interesting. I was going to ask, everything I saw at Starfish in Lamin is all, locally made.
Yes.
And this also.
It is critical to us. One of our sayings is we do what we can where we are with what we have. So we could come into the community and say we don't have money for a classroom, but we have a 20-foot container sitting there. So if we can take that, this is the MSDG project. We applied for that and they provided some funding for the flooring, for the shelves and so on. And we started with that. And I always say we can paint any pictures we want or we can just do regular paint. But there are a lot of young Gambians who are great painters like Musa. I saw Musa actually painting the Africell wall. And so I made contact with him, invited him here. And I said, why don't you come and paint a mural?
This looks nice.
So it inspires the children then to see what they can do, what talents they can develop, and Gambians can support.
So this is the library.
2 years ago, my dad passed away, so I named this after him.
Uncle Babu.
Yes, he loved art. And he loved music, and he loved football. So that's what the soccer ball is, and then he loved reading and kids. If you know him,
of course,
you know that every time he was around, kids were following him. So we started here with about 5 or 6 kids, and before we knew it, there were 60 children here. So usually when they're out here, no car can pass. They have to all pick up their chairs for the cars to pass. So we decided to do some fundraisers to build classrooms. So you'll see the classrooms inside that we're building for them. But now the kids in this community can no longer fit in the library. You can go in and see we have boxes of books. But I think it's important we showcase what we can do as a start. So they come here, we have primary 1 through primary 6 that come here every day after school. So on a daily basis, we serve about 60 children from the Daranka community. And we have the Starfish mentors come here and give extra classes after school. So,
wow, this is amazing.
And the kids have to maintain it. So they sweep it, they mop it, they take pride in it, they come and open it in the morning. We do drama, we do poetry, we do reading, of course, a lot of reading and writing, and we help them with their homework as well. So this is the land, this is the agricultural component.
This feels so peaceful and just so, nice.
Thank you.
It does.
You were talking about how you see that everything is recycling or things from the community. And one of the things we wanted for this hub to be is for people to look at the things that we tend to waste and just put garbage in the environment and see how we can use it.
That name, Zamani Kunda, what's
So Zamani is the family that helped us buy this land.
Oh, okay.
So there was a family in the US.
Oh,
and
okay.
they came here to volunteer at Starfish.
Okay.
And the mother of the family had been a refugee in the US and she was a nurse.
Oh.
So if you know Starfish, we usually don't appeal to people directly. We want them to come and see the girls and see what young people can do. And then if they're moved to donate, we always have a list of needs, but we always say, know the people and understand their power and their dignity and understand that your donation would be an investment. So that family came and they volunteered at Starfish. And then when they went back, the mom passed and the family wrote to us and said, our mom was a refugee in the US and she was a nurse. And when she passed, she wanted her inheritance to be used to help women and girls. And we were really impressed with the women and girls we met in the Gambia. So we wanted to donate this money for you to be able to buy the land so you can dedicate it to women. So when we did that, we named it Zamani after them. Zamani Kunda.
Zamani Kunda.
It has to be Gambian.
Yeah. Wow.
So we do, as you can see, recycling.
Okay.
And down to the flowers that we plant. We always plant flowers that can grow more so we can transplant.
Transplant, okay.
Still be beautiful. But sometimes people will say, we can't beautify the place because we can't afford to buy flowers.
Yeah.
And we're like, you can start with one set of flowers and just keep watering and transplanting that. And before you know it, the same idea of building from the ground up will happen.
Will happen, yeah.
So every home can have flowers. It depends on knowledge and education and what
you can do.
And if you look at the flower pots, they're also made from cement.
Cement, yeah.
So they're just the same mondo as you would be eating.
Yeah.
So one of the mentors here learned how to do the flower pots like that. So we buy sand and cement, and then she can make flower pots. And she has trained the people at the land on how to do that.
That's interesting.
So this is the chill zone. This is the first place you enter when you come. Since we don't have a hall, again, we have the trees.
The trees, yeah.
So how do we beautify the trees so that if we have an event here, you can see how this resembles a hall.
Yeah, it
You
looks
can sit
very,
from there all the way here, and everybody can feel a part of the environment. And this is, again, maintained by the students and the mentors that are here. Starfish doesn't have a huge staff. It has volunteers and mentors who come and they work here in exchange for their college education. They're usually the ones that graduated from the program. And they can also inspire other kids to come and say, if this one can make it, then I can make it too.
Wow.
And the same young people, you know, people talk about the back way a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm always asking young people, what skill, what talent do you have? And so Musa also did this mural on the bathroom wall. So again, what our young people can do can beautify our environment. It can elevate us. And it doesn't take much for us.
It doesn't, It doesn't, definitely.
So this is the stage, if you will, and this is the audience. And you can see it's decorated by an anthill, some flowers, the trees, and you're good to go. If you can maintain it.
Looks nice.
And take care of it.
Wow.
So last year we embarked on a big fundraising in order to build the classrooms because the kids can no longer be sitting out in the street.
In the street, yeah. So these are the classrooms.
So so in January, we're going to open these classrooms. We're just at the very end of these classrooms. And the fundraiser we did was to have 4 classrooms.
Wow.
So one would be for literacy, teaching literacy. The other one would be for teaching numeracy. And the third one would be entrepreneurship and business.
Wow.
And then the fourth one would be ITC and computers. So like I said, we never wait until we have all the computers and all we start where we are with what we have. And so the idea here, again, is to preserve the environment. So even the buildings that are designed to honor the trees. So instead of cutting the trees in order to have the classrooms, we wanted to maintain the integrity of the trees. But we also wanted to have a lot of windows there. So
I see that there's a lot of windows.
Yes, when you're inside, you still feel like you're part of the environment. Of course, this is God-given, the mahogany tree. So that's a bantaba we can all sit at. And we're working on this, but these would be gardens.
This would be the landscaping,
that would produce, you know, garlic and onions and things like that, that the kids that come here to study can maintain. So each of them will have something. Like cayenne pepper is beautiful. It's red and yellow and green. It's all the colors that a flower has, except it also feeds you.
Yeah.
And so we can do things like that to teach the kids intentional gardening that can be beautiful and feed them as well. Wow. So this is a fire pit in the middle. Yeah. So next time when you come, we will be
this place would have been, yes,
grilling something.
Grilling something. Oh my God, I'm amazed by what I'm seeing. And look at the same flower pots that we saw earlier on, right?
So these are the flower pots.
Yeah. Oh, that looks nice.
And then the aloe vera in there that we're going to transplant. Yeah.
Oh.
But this is that. So these are kaba vines. A lot of people don't know what kaba and tall look like, but these vines growing up are all kaba and tall. So this land has salam, it has kaba, it has passion fruit, it has a lot of cashews and mangoes, it has, of course, it has the vegetables. And then we have different gardens.
I don't know how this place looks like during the rainy season.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
It is absolutely. It's green now.
Yeah.
You can imagine how much greener
it will be during the
It has a huge concentration of birds. You know, Gambia has one of the highest concentration of birds in West Africa. But this land has a lot of birds. We have a lot of animals as well. There's some snakes here. I know that freaks people out. We have the partridges. We have, you know, what do you call it? Bar.
Yes, okay.
We have all of that. So it's a beautiful place.
It is a beautiful place. It's so green and calm and all. You just want to sleep here. See where it goes.
Exactly.
You just want to lay down and not, you know.
Yeah. So we have the boreholes. We have 2 boreholes. One of the things that we always struggle with is water and electricity, but we started with 2 boreholes. And what we're hoping is that we will graduate to drip irrigation, where we can find pipes that can water the plants as we go through. So there's a banana plantation there we didn't get to, but there's another one here. So every project at Starfish, we will help fundraise and start, but the project has to maintain itself. So sustainability is critical. So the banana plantations, the papaya plantations, all of those are so that this land can provide its own funds to maintain itself and to grow. So these bananas would then be sold and the money would come back to the land. The papayas would be sold and the money would come back to the land, and so on. That way, you don't start a project and then you're always looking for somebody else to maintain it.
I saw something like this around the other area.
Yes, so we have the banana plantation there, and then this one is banana and papaya.
Okay.
And then we have some with moringa as well that we do. Wow. So in a few years, the goal is that the proceeds from these projects will then inform all the financial lifeblood of this place. So this place will not go to anybody and ask for funding for anything.
Okay.
I guess we can go this way. So the people that work here, what we did was, you know how you have a toma?
Yeah.
And somebody, so the gardens are their tomas. So each person that works here then has a garden. That is your toma, and then your name is on it. And so when people come and visit,
ownership.
Yes, come this way. There. Yeah, when people come here, we take you to Bully's garden, or we take you to Dr. Noor's garden, and then you feel a responsibility towards that, but also other people feel a responsibility when they're helping you with your garden. And then we will also have garden competitions. This is a compost pit. You can see So when people come, obviously we process cashews here.
Yeah.
But we don't do alcohol.
Oh, okay.
So then the cashew pulp is what we put there, and then layers of leaves over there. So over time, as we water it,
Yeah.
when we need manure from the garden,
You take it from it.
all the pulp from the cashew then has rotted, and then we can take it from there and put it in the gardens as fertilizer. So I compost at my house so that the students can see that it's not a foreign thing, it's not a thing that we don't do. So any leftover foods that are not good, or the peelings and all of that, I compost.
Compost, yeah.
And the idea is if the director can compost, so can you.
So can you.
Yeah. So this is another garden. I think so these taps are all from the boreholes.
Borehole.
And then here you have, well, playing around with plantains. Because we have the banana plantation, but a lot of Gambians are not used to eating plantains a lot.
Nah.
So we have fewer plantain plants that we want to work with to see how far we go.
Okay.
This garden usually has all of our seedlings that we start. And we start projects here and then transfer them to the other place. But citrus and lime, you can see in the country, are getting more and more expensive.
Yeah.
So this is the citrus part that we're trying to start, these oranges, and then you can see the polypods over there. And then the bananas can also be seeded here and then moved to other places that we need them in. So,
wow.
This mural, this girl, her name is Rose. She's now a teacher. She used to be in Starfish, and then she graduated, and she's now a teacher, that one with the afro. And so when she is from this community, she came from Guinea-Bissau, lived in this community. When she came to the Gambia, she didn't speak
English. I think
English.
she told me about
Yes. So when we started this, I had her come. She's a great artist. So she came and she drew a portrait of herself. And the idea is so that when children from this community come to this land, they can see her and they can say, if Rose can do it, I can do it too.
Wow.
Right? So if you come to Lamin and you see me, you're like, well, if Yassin can do it, because that's where I grew up.
Yeah.
But this is not my community.
Yes,
this is Rose's
Daranka.
community.
Yes.
So the idea is that each of the girls can go back to their communities
and be role models.
reflect themselves
Yeah.
to the children that are there. Because if I come, they'll be like, well, yeah, but you're from Lamin. If I go to Bassett, they'll say, you're from Lamin.
Yeah.
But if they come and see Rose, then that's quite another thing. And this one was done by John Mendy. So we usually have young people that come and just help. And again, you can see. And this was done by Zina. So all these young artists in the Gambia, this was Zina's painting, John's painting, Rose's painting, Musa's painting. And this one, they usually will come and work with the students. So when they did their individual paintings, then they work with the kids to show their paintings. These unfinished buildings that you see, these are actually for our poultry and for our animal husbandry.
Okay.
So the other thing about Starfish is we don't take on any project because of ideas. So when they came and they said, Auntie Yassin, we want to do sheep, we want to do goats, we want to do rabbits. I said, okay, let's start with some chicks.
Yeah.
So if we get the chicks, if I give you chicks, and I give you some pigeons, and you can start from there and keep them alive, 6 months later, let's see how
that goes.
Big they get, what you can learn from them, and so on. And then we can move on to the next level. But the idea is to have the animal husbandry. We're going to have sheep, we're going to have pigeons, we're going to have rabbits, we're going to have goats, we're going to have chickens for sale. And chickens to eat. And then all of the manure from that will then go be fertilizers for them. So you can open the doors so we can see the chicks and the pigeons.
You already have them here.
Oh, yes. So they have to show. We have to move from just ideas to do it.
To do it,
So we always say action, reflection, consultation, and study. So you can see this is not different for Gambia at all.
No.
When we were growing up, you had young boys and girls who had pigeons all the time. We've moved away from that, but pigeons are beautiful showpieces for everybody. to enjoy.
Oh.
And these started out as eggs and chicks, and now you can see what is possible in the Gambia, I think, with very little to start with. So they're showing off right now.
I know, right?
But there they are. So you can see they're beautiful, they're big, but it also gives us an opportunity when somebody comes with an idea to say, do something, let me see what you can do, and then we can move from there.
Wow.
Pa, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Jamu nga? Nanga de? Naka liggéey bi? Jërëjëf.
Wow.
Yes. The chickens always eat the pigeons' food. It's not fair, but anyway. And this, you know, I told you that we have cashews and mangoes, all these fruits. One of my frustrations was always that we don't, because we have so much abundance, we never really package things to last longer. So after mango season, we move on and so on. So I wanted this to be a learning center for women to be able to come and process things. So, you know, what does cashew flour look like? Most people don't know that you can make bread from cashew. Dried
I didn't know myself.
No. So we want to teach those. So for example, sweet potato bread.
Yeah.
That is also possible. You can make bread from sweet potato. So how can this place be a hub where women come and men come and they learn skills that they can directly implement in their homes immediately to make money and to help their children and their families. So this room, that is the process, the kitchen, a commercial kitchen, and then on the other side is the processing center. And then these rooms, these rooms are the offices.
Oh, okay.
And the dormitories. So I told you we have a lot of volunteers coming in.
Yeah.
So when they come, we want them to live with the people.
Okay.
Not to go and live at the hotel and then come to us.
Oh.
Come and live here, see what we eat, where we are.
Yeah.
See how hot it can get. So this is a store now, but it's you can see the processing for the jams and the jellies and all of those things. And then this is the kitchen. And then this is just a typical room where volunteers can stay. I'm usually tempted to want to come and stay here, but it's just a living room, and a bedroom and a bathroom. That
volunteers stay when they come.
Stay, and then sit out here. So let me turn on the light if you want. So you can just come here, and if you want a break and to hide, you can come hide.
Oh, interesting.
And there's a bathroom over there.
Wow.
So basic necessities. If you're going to come here and help, and then you need to be one with the people. What I feel like. And then this is the Bantabas.
The Bantabas,
area. So on that side, we have more gardens. So you know we have the restaurant. So the restaurant has to maintain and sustain itself. And the land has to maintain and sustain itself. But there's no reason why they can't work together. So this is the vegetable garden and that one as well. So the land folks, when they harvest their things, they can sell it to the restaurant. And if the restaurant needs stuff, instead of going to the market, they can come here. And soon you can see how they'll get their meat from here. We'll have a fish pond here. We'll also have vegetables. And then everything you eat at the restaurant then would be healthy. That was homegrown from here. So this is the vision. We also have beekeeping on the other side.
Wow.
So we have honeybees, and then when we harvest that, it also goes to the skill center for the soap making, for the wax, and the lip balms and so on. But the idea is to just show sustainability in the Gambia, what is possible, how we can do it, how we can start from scratch. And of course, we package lemongrass. So we have all this lemongrass. So we do dried lemongrass that we can package and stuff.
Hello and welcome to another edition. Just as I've introduced at the Starfish International in Lamin, I told you guys I'm home today. And it's definitely a great honor to sit with the one and only Mam Yassin Sarr. Growing up in Lamin, this was a lady, a girl who inspired so many of us. I went to St. Peter's High School. By the time I was getting into St. Peter's, she had already left. But her name, there were two women in St. Peter's, two women in Lamin that you can always reference growing up, Mam Yassin Sarr and Tres Nongjata. And, you know, even growing up, I've never seen Mam Yassin playing. Do musa dega fi ñu wax ne Mam Yassin si fola neka. All you hear about the honors, the merits, and everything that she gets in school. And she had been a role model to so many young people. And of course, Uncle Babu, was a great friend of my father, and Sana Sarr was a great friend of myself, and we were family. But I'd never had to have this connection with Mam Yassin. So it's a great honor sitting with you today. And thank you for inspiring me and so many young women in this community.
It's my absolute honor. I'm so humbled that young people can look at my path and be inspired, because they inspire me. You all inspire me so much. So growing up in Lamin, I was inspired by how hard girls were working. The fact that we had a high school here, and every day after school you would see so many kids following Lamin kids to their homes to eat and do all of that. So Lamin has always been a family community, so I consider all of you my younger sisters and brothers, and I'm honored.
And, you know, I just wanted to start from there. When going to school, you know, a lot of us will say, Mam Yassin, you know, everybody wants to be a Mam Yassin. And you grew in this community to be a role model to a lot of people. How did that come about? How were you so serious from even a child, you know, a girl, young girl stage to just be building that path for young people? How did that come about?
You know, when I was 8 years old, I'm one of those lucky people who I've always known what my destiny was, what I wanted to do with my life from when I was 8 years old. So by the time I got to St. Peter's at 13 years old, I had quite a bit of practice knowing what I wanted to do with my life. And somehow I never veered from it. Yeah. So when I was 8 years old, my parents went through a very difficult divorce, a very painful divorce. They later went back together, but that when I was 8, the night that my mom left the house, she left with just the clothes on her back. Wow. And I was 8 years old, Sana was 6 years old, 5.5, and Palamin was 3 years old, and Yuma wasn't born yet. But I remember leaving the house and walking away. I said, if my mom is leaving the house tonight, then I'm leaving with her. You know, and she was leaving with just her clothes. I remember thinking, okay, all of the rest of her clothes are in the house. Her fan is in the house. Her bed is in the house. And we're walking down the street. And I remember thinking, when I grow up, I want to do something so that no mother feels as helpless as my mom must be feeling now. And no child feels as scared as I feel right now. Wow. And so I watched my mom go from that to sleeping on relatives' couches, to getting a job, getting an apartment, getting custody of her kids, and sending us all to university. So I thought by the time I was 13, my mom was working at Gamtel. She had her own space. She was doing her own thing. And I thought, okay, that's how I'm going to help let fewer people suffer. So I had that mission. It was like every girl I saw, I was like, when I grow up, I'm going to do something so you don't suffer. Yeah. And then every woman I saw, I'd say, I want to do something so you wouldn't be in the position my mom was in when she had to lose her children, lose her house and everything. So that I was on a mission. That's why I wasn't even on Tobaski Day, I was studying. Yeah. I would wear my Tobaski clothes, sit in the living room and study. And because I thought that what made my mom's story different is she had an education. And because she had an education, she could get a job, make her own money, get her own apartment, and educate her children. And if I could educate as many mothers as possible, as many future mothers as possible, they can do the same. They would have that security all the time. Because nobody can take your education away from you. They can take your house and your car and everything, but you can always get a job. You can always do business. You can always use your knowledge, even if you're a refugee in another country, and make your own way. So.
Oh, interesting. I mean, and obviously St. Peter's High School we all went to, and you know there was this strong figure there for all of us. You know, like I said, Andres Nongjata and yourself. How has her leadership helped you to also become this kind of leader that you are today?
So I think part of why we also didn't know each other well was because I was living in Lamin, but I was going to school at Methodist Primary in Banjul. So when I had to come to St. Peter's High School, I came with this attitude, like I am from the city, I went to school in the city, so I came with my hair straightened, and you know, I was all about the fashion. And the day I got to St. Peter's, she looked at me and she said, I want you to go home until the straighten comes out of your hair. Wow. So I get home and my mom says, well, the only way you can get the straighten out of your hair is if you shave your hair off. So I went from conceptualizing myself as this Banjul kid who was high on the fashion scene to becoming basically bald, because my mom said, we're not going to bribe anybody to get you to any other school or use any connections. We're going to let you learn whatever lesson she's trying to teach you. So I learned from Form 1. I cried for 2 months. I stayed home and cried for 2 months. And then I decided to get up. No, she sent my English teacher from school to come to the house and chop off my hair. That was a Ghanaian man, so he gave me a Ghanaian haircut where they'll fondant the bottom here and then they chop all of it off. So that's what I came to school with every day. And quickly I had to define myself on what was inside instead of what I was putting on. And so that was seminal. And then so I just had to focus on what is in my brain, what is in my heart, and how can I help people see that instead of see what they just see when they look at. And then I went on to do the peer health education program, go to Canada, come back, go to all schools in the Gambia and establish that. And then I became head girl. And so she was, now when people look at me, they say, you know, your school is run the same way that St. Peter's was run. But if you look at yourself, you look at St. Peter's graduates, you know that one of the things they learned, that we learned, was a sense of self-confidence and a sense of service that we can give back, and that what is on the outside doesn't define us. So you find us in many leadership positions, but quietly doing it. You won't hear us saying, you know, we're this, we're that, we're the other. And I think she instilled that. The work is all done on the inside. Yeah.
Interesting. And obviously you finished school and you went to the United States. A lot of people will say, that's it, right? I finished my education, went to the United States and got educated. Why did you decide to come back and invest back home? What was the motivation?
So one of my joys is to have Americans who knew me in 1994 come back and see this dream realized. Because if you met me in the US when I got there, I always talked about coming home. I always said to Americans, I'm here to get an education and go back home. And I think some of them didn't believe it. They're like, no, you will have so many amenities in the US, why would you do that? And because I was also in leadership positions there. But I always knew I'd come home and do this. So I never really had a sense of, even though I married an American, of staying in America. Even when I met my husband, I said to him, you have to first go to the Gambia and visit without me and see if you can live there. And if you can live there, then you can come back and we can get married. So I never planned to stay. So everything I studied in college, I studied sociology for undergrads because I believed that we could learn from other societies and how they do things, and they could learn from us. I studied French because I figured whatever I was doing with women could be shared with French-speaking Africa, not just English-speaking Africa. I studied curriculum development because I wanted to work with teachers. I knew that only I couldn't do it. And then I studied educational leadership because I realized later on that every single one of us can be a teacher and is a teacher in some form. So if we know certain things, then everybody is a teacher and the work is much easier. And I studied teaching English to speakers of other languages because I knew that we're taught English as if we're British children. When we come to the language with many other languages, if I come with Wolof, Mandinka and Aku, and you're trying to teach me English, you should use a different method than when you're teaching somebody who doesn't speak any other language. So you can see that everything I studied, everything I did was fitted back to my context here. America doesn't need me. as much as the Gambia needs me. So I had to come
Obviously,
home.
that is manifested at this, where we are, and of course, where we visited. Now, the Starfish idea, how was that conceptualized? What was the dream behind? I visited the Lamin complex. I was amazed. I don't know how come 15 years I have not visited. I kept telling my dad this morning, I feel so ashamed that I have not visited this place for 15 years, but I am amazed with what I saw in Lamin. Tell us about the idea, how it started. It's 15 years today, right?
Yes, 15 years in 2024.
Yeah.
Yes. No, when I went, I told you I studied sociology for undergraduates.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to look at women and women's problems. But when I started studying it, I realized that there were women having problems in every culture that you looked at.
Yeah.
So when you looked at India, you saw bride burning. When you looked at China, you saw foot binding. When you looked at some parts of Africa, you saw female circumcision. When you look at the West, you see breast implants, butt implants, anorexia, bulimia, all of it. So everywhere you went, and if you think about it as a woman, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
You would say to yourself, where do I start? But if you understand it in terms of, if you make a difference in the life of one person, you're making a huge difference, then it's not so overwhelming. So I was thinking in terms of, for example, Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey's grandmother was a laundress. She used to do people's laundry. So you see two generations. Oprah Winfrey's grandmother was a laundress, her father was a barber, a hair cutter, and she's Oprah Winfrey. And so the life of one individual can touch so many lives. And so the starfish story is that there's a young woman walking down the beach, and a lot of starfish are brought in by the wave, and they're drying up on the shore. And she's picking starfish up and throwing them back in the water. An older person comes by and says, there are so many of them dying, you just picking one and throwing it is not going to make such a difference. And the young woman picks up a starfish, looks at the older person and said, but to this one, I am making a difference. And so that's what I wanted anybody who came to Starfish to understand. Every single one of them is critical to making a difference in the lives of many. And so no single human being is less than another human being. Everybody is equally important, and you don't know who's going to make the huge difference. Somebody could have looked at Oprah Winfrey and said, oh, her grandmother is a laundress. She will never amount to anything. But then look at her now. And so that's what the name stands for, that every single human is important and worthy of investment, and you don't know who is going to make the most difference. So you just do your best and leave the rest to God.
Talking about investment, let's look at the different programs you do at the Starfish in Lamin.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to start with the restaurant. I've never tried the Solom juice, and this is from the restaurant, and it tastes so good.
Yes.
I mean, you have a restaurant there.
Yes.
You have a skill center.
Yes.
I went to the health
spa,
and I had my pressure tested.
Yes, the health.
And they had the education, and I even saw the Sana's classroom, the autism classroom.
Yeah.
Interesting. That touched my heart really, because I have a family member who also has a kid. And Sana has been really helpful, exchanging ideas and support. So tell us about the programs at the Starfish in Lamin.
So the student is centered, and everything revolves around the student. So let's say we pick you and we say, okay, every student is important, every student is centered. And so we're going to concentrate on Fatou and building Fatou from the ground up as much as possible. What do we need in order to do that? What we need in order to do that is what informs what programs we do. So people will say, well, what does Starfish not do?
Yeah.
And my answer is always, what do you not need in order to develop a human being? So for example, we have the skill center. A lot of girls, just because they're in school doesn't mean they'll continue in school. So what can we do in order for them to have a livelihood? They need skills. But most of our girls, the richness of Africa is such that any girl can either braid, or they can dance, or they can babysit, or there's something that they're doing that can be made into a business. And usually we don't look at it that way. right? So if you're braiding all your friends, you can be a hair braider, and you can be a hair braider and sew clothes and still go to school. So that's what informs the skill center. When you look at the health part, a child cannot be educated if they're sick, and they cannot be educated if they're hungry. But that child also needs to make a difference within their community. I think the person who checked your blood pressure was probably 14 years old.
I'm told she wants to be a doctor.
Right. So at 14 years old, how many 14-year-olds do we have in our community that could go into the homes? Let's say your grandfather needed their blood pressure checked. They don't have to go all the way to Banjul every day if they have 14-year-old kids in the community going to school. So how can we make our communities better with the little that we have and make a start there? So that informs our health section. What kinds of foods are we eating? If you have diabetes, can a 14-year-old come and sit with you and tell you what foods would be best for you? If you're pregnant, you need to meditate, you need to take walks. Can't a 14-year-old come and sit with you and talk to you, or even go for walks with you and say, Auntie Fatou, every day I'll come and we can walk together. You're my pregnant woman that I will support, you see? So that's where those come from. And then as far as giving back in terms of reading and writing, we know that education is the lingua franca of the world. So we have to do as much of that, and that's where the library comes in.
And this center here,
the
agricultural center is in Daranka.
Yes.
We had to drive about 7 minutes from Lamin to come to Daranka. And this is for the Daranka community, right?
Yes.
It's not just an agricultural center, but it also hosts students as well, right?
Yes.
I saw the library.
Yes. So this, when we got the land...
How long was this? Because
this was 3 years
Just
ago.
3 years? All of this?
Yes.
Wow.
This is 3 years old. But I always say it's sweat, blood, and tears, and a lot of gratitude. So everybody that works at Starfish will tell you there's no typical day at Starfish. We're working all day and into the evening. And the reason is because when we come, we have to identify our why.
Yeah.
So for example, what is it that I'm so passionate about that I can do to give back? So we are in Lamin, but then the neighboring community is Daranka. Lamin is not okay if Daranka is not okay. Daranka is not okay if Kerewan is not okay, and so on and so forth all through the world. And so when we came to Daranka, we thought, let's start with the women. We have cashews. What can we do with the cashews? They can harvest the cashews. While they're harvesting the cashews, what happens to their kids?
Yeah.
Let's teach their kids. But what can those kids do in the community? What kinds of service projects as well that helps the Daranka community? So we do agriculture here as a hub, not just for Daranka, but for Gambians to see what recycling looks like, what composting looks like, what reading and writing looks like, what gardening looks like, what business looks like, what computer skills look like.
Oh. So I see, apart from the, I see new classrooms being built. Are you saying we're going to have the same facilities that we have in Lamin, in Daranka also?
I think this facility will be bigger than the Lamin facility. I know this facility will be bigger than the Lamin facility because we have 8 hectares here. And what we really, this is going to be an example. So I was saying each of the Starfish alum mentors that come back to serve at Starfish have gone back to their villages to start a Starfish chapter there. So from Basse to Nyani Sukuta to Jara Soma, to Fulabantang, to Farafenye, to Nyomi, to Kawur, we have all of these chapters. So I can't go to Nyani Sukuta and tell the Nyani Sukuta girls how to elevate themselves and how to use their agency, as well as Wude can go, or Fatou, why can go back to their village and say, my grandparents came from here, I am back here to make a difference, right? But you need a central place.
Yeah.
That those things, a hub where those things that you want to see in other parts of the world, other parts of the country, the examples can be set there. So that's what we're doing here. So when it comes to agriculture, we want to see composting. We want you to have some chickens and take the poop from the chickens and put it in the garden, right? We want to have you do gardening and flowers at the same time. So the place can be beautiful and have vegetables. We want you to have some honey bees so that you can have honey, and then that can be used to do body lotions and so on. where would the women go, where would the men go to learn those things? And then how would they leverage that online and start businesses that they can actually make money from and advertise? So this is the home base for all of that.
And I see something observed even from Lamin to here, like the entire setup, the designs, everything is locally made. Yes. Why is that?
I have never understood why Africa is so rich and then painted as so poor. And I think that primarily it's the mindset, and you teach people how to treat you. And if we have our homes and if we have, you know, our walls and so on, and we find the most expensive Chinese things, for example, to decorate our houses with, what message does that tell our children and our grandchildren? When we have beautiful carved things from the tourist market that we're selling tourists that we're not using in our own spaces. So that's one of the reasons why, is that nobody can sell Africa and its wealth better than we can. And in order to do that, we have to act it. We cannot just think it, right? And the second thing is that we can start where we are with what we have. So I don't have to have the latest thing from outside in order to enjoy life here. If I can start with what I have, if I have moringa, for example, moringa is a superfood. I might not have bananas and apples and all of those things, but all of the things that boom, what we call boom, the ingredients that it has, if you go to Europe now, they're trying to put it in hair lotions, they're calling it a superfood, it's extremely expensive. Moringa just grows wild. And so until we start understanding that education is deeper than 1, 2, 3 and ABC, and that to educate our people, we have to manifest the kings and queens we are and how lucky we are to be able to throw a mango seed and have it grow into a mango tree. Until we can appreciate that, we are going to continue to be exploited and robbed. And so that's what it is about. We'll look around and we want every African child that enters here to be proud of who they are and to understand how lucky they are.
And the use of I look around. For example, you make your own menu for the products, for the bananas and other products that you have your garden that will serve the restaurants. So instead of going to the markets to buy, everything is in-house. It seems like that is the idea, to be a one-stop shop.
So if you look at development projects, I think that Africa and Africans have a lot to teach the world. And unfortunately, our knowledge, until it goes to Harvard and comes back to us, we don't take it seriously. This idea of communal living and this idea of a one-stop shop is manifested in every village. If I had my children getting married, I don't have to have everything in place by myself in order to make it happen. Somebody will bring bowls, somebody will come and help set everything up. Somebody will come and make the pancake, and then afterwards everybody will come and clean. So everybody has something to contribute, and this is who we've always been. And because of that, we are able to help ourselves, right? Traditionally, that's who we are. But then when we start an organization and we say, okay, the restaurant is on its own, the land is on its own, the health sector is on its own, the library is on its own, then we all struggle individually. And so these people are looking for funding, these people are doing this. But in this case, we can teach the world what it means to live together. So if the restaurant then needs vegetables and healthy ones, and the land makes it, and then the restaurant buys it, the restaurant can be supporting everybody at the land, and everybody at the land, when they come to work every day, will think about the people at the restaurant and say, I need to water these tomatoes because those people's livelihoods depend on it. So again, it's action, reflection, consultation, and study. What are we doing to showcase in real time and real life how we have always helped each other, how we have always supported each other? So all of the Starfish projects are interconnected so that the kids never forget that we have always been one. Ubuntu, I am because you are. If you thrive, I thrive. And in order to do that, we have to showcase it.
This is a huge project. This and the facility in Lamin. How have you been able to sustain this over the years and give to the community. I see a lot of young girls at the skill center, at the health place, at the salon, the restaurant. How have you been able to sustain this?
I think that is the biggest testament of what is possible through Starfish, what we've been able to show. Because the idea was, I was talking to somebody yesterday and they said, this idea of volunteerism is lost in our young people.
Yeah.
Everybody wants something because they're getting something out of it. And I said, well, it's not lost at Starfish. Because every one of the boys and girls that come through, that ask the same questions. Why did Auntie Yassin come all the way back here to do this? And I say, I came home because of you. That's the same thing they say to the next generation. We come back to Starfish to give you the extra classes, to do all these things because of you, because we want to invest in the next generation. And what we are getting, when you serve, you receive so much more than you've given. And that is usually lost on people. So the young people that come back to run this, that's how it's been sustained. A lot of prayer, some tears, a lot of faith, and a lot of sacrifice on the part of a lot of people. So when they come, in essence, what they're saying is, look, let's take my example. I brought my kids from the US. They were both born there. We came here, we stayed here, we're working here, they're going to school at Starfish, we're homeschooling them. But those children, to me, are the biggest gifts I've gotten from Starfish, because where other kids in the West are struggling with materialism, my children have been able to go into the community, work with these young people, and have role models that keep overcoming obstacles. So have I given Starfish more than it's given me? If it has given me better children, then no, I have gained more than I've given. And I think every single young person that comes in realizes that they are gaining more than they're giving. Yes, they get an education, but beyond that, if any of us died today, we know that we leave a legacy behind. And all the research that is being done about happiness shows that it's not the big house and the car and all that. People are truly happy when they're able to give back. And Starfish gives an opportunity for people to be able to give back. And that's how it's sustained. These amazing young people run the whole thing, and I'm there to guide them.
And I see a lot of, going through the different departments, I saw a lot of the people, they'll tell, my guide will say they went through the Starfish program and now they're here mentoring or working here as, instructors at the different programs. Now, looking at the backway syndrome is something we cannot do do this interview without talking about. A lot of the young people are leaving this country because, number one, they don't have the skills to be able to help themselves, or they don't have the financial support, or even have employment to help their families. And I see a lot of skills development that you guys do, and how you mentor and help young people. You think, how do you think you can work with government to help incorporate this idea, the Starfish belief and ideology, to help keep the young people back home? Because it's important. The more institutions or organizations like yours to help mentor young people will be great in curbing the migration phenomenon that is going on right now.
Yes. When it comes to especially the migration phenomenon, I always say there's no individual salvation. I think when it comes to young people and when it comes to their problems, what we see around the world, and I always say that, is that if you think that with a high wall or a bodyguard at your gate you are protected, you're never protected. There are a lot of thieves and a lot of crazy people around you in your community. It's just a matter of time before they get to you. So anybody who thinks this is a problem outside of myself, it won't affect me, is greatly mistaken, and maybe before they realize it, it's too late. So there aren't any families in Starfish who haven't been affected some way by the migration issue. So we've always taken an interest in it, an active interest in it. And a couple of years ago, we actually started looking at the mothers and saying, okay, part of the reason these boys are leaving is because they're seeing their mothers suffer. And they're saying, even if I have to sacrifice my life to give my mom a better livelihood, I'm going to do it. So how do we get the mothers group more involved in having conversations within the homes about, I am your mother and I might be suffering, but I would rather be suffering with a child that is alive than a child that goes and gets lost outside. And then for a lot of the forums, I think this is why the media covering stories like Starfish can be so powerful. Because I think the model, we have a memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Education, a memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Health, and a memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Agriculture, because this is what we are doing. And then we always send them reports. However, I think both government offices and NGOs are used to people going to them and begging them and telling them, I'm all off a contract, this, that, and the other. And I always say to them, I can't be here doing this work
And doing that
and
too.
then coming and doing your work. You need to get into the country and look at what programs are working. And why are they working, and how can what they're doing help the rest of the people, instead of people having to come and lobby you and make you feel important before you can do anything. And so that's always, I think that the media, if they can do some of the government's work and go into the villages and towns and look at what things are working and highlight them, hopefully it will at least embarrass, if not inspire, the powers that be to come into the grassroots level and say, okay, we can support. So, you know, we're here doing what we can where we are with what we have, and we hope that we inspire a generation of people who understand that aid work is about the aid workers not being in Fajara and being at the restaurants, but being in the villages and seeing what is working.
And is that not the reason why most of these projects even don't work? Because, for example, I mean, people, it's not about what is happening on the ground, but it's more about what is in the offices. And obviously, the beneficiaries, the support don't get to the beneficiaries themselves. And when that happens, at the end of the day, you're not getting the target that you really want to get. I mean, look, like I said, when I got here, I was surprised, pleasantly surprised though. But again, how many people really know what is happening here, the work that you guys are doing here, the young people that you are training, the young people that you're giving support to. I even saw the classes for the women. And I'm thinking, you know, what are you hoping to achieve there? Getting women educated, women who are thinking of feeding their families. Why do you think it's necessary to give them some level of education?
I think that, again, at the core, if I say to you, who has been the biggest influence in your success, unless you had a horrible experience with your mom, it's going to be your mom.
My mom and my grandmother.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so for every family, when you look at it, that woman is going to be able to tell you what class her child is in, whether her child is sick, whether her child is hungry, what their strengths and weaknesses are, right? So investing in that woman, because that woman doesn't choose, or I won't focus on my sons because they're males, I'll only focus on my daughters. She focuses on all her children. So in investing in these women, we actually invest in the family. However, the children are also looking, the biggest role model is the mom. So if my mom is 50 years old and she's just beginning to learn how to read and write, will that woman tell me to go do my homework and I refuse? Because I see the example she's setting. But it also, when a woman is able to keep her bank account, her books, if she has a business, it's then more difficult for anybody to cheat her out of a system, right? Or her own things. So for all those reasons, it is an investment in the whole community when we invest in women. But I was saying about the back way as well. When you look at a mother and have that conversation about how painful it is to raise a child and bring them up and have them go back way or even go to war. This is such a pain that when women get into the positions of power they need to be in, then less of that suffering is visited upon the families and communities. And so my hope, my goal is that in all the places where we have complaints, you know, the National Assembly, the governments, the NGOs, that when we give the right kind of education and families represented by women get into those positions, they will do the work that needs to be done because they don't want their children to suffer. It's as simple as that. You don't carry a child for 9 months, give birth to them, raise them, just to see them suffer.
Now, I know a lot of people went through the Starfish program. Would you, in 15 years, how many people are you looking at? How many people were you able to mentor at these programs? And, you know, do you have an idea?
Yes, we have about 10,000 plus now. So we have 1,000 that alumni that have graduated, actually graduated high school and gone. And then we have the chapters. We have 9 chapters across the country with at least 30 students or 30 young women or whatever community is focused on in each of those chapters. And then when we go out into a village to do a health program, we'll have upwards of thousands come through. Then when we do our mobile libraries and go into communities or civic education, so we have at least 10,000 going up in
Let's look at these chapters. That's a lot, 10,000 people.
Yes.
That's a community.
Right.
That's the community.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's look at these chapters. How do you support these chapters across the country?
Okay. So support is really important. I just talked about, in essence, when you come to look at the Starfish program, I want you to look at it, and I want you to vet it. And if you can trust us and the work that we do, I want you to give us the support you want to give us and get out of our way so we can do the work. So for example, if we do fundraisers in America, I'll basically say to Americans, give me your money and get out of my way. I don't need you to tell me what to do in Lamin.
And this is the problem. I've said this even at national level. When I have government institutions, it's like when we get grants, they tell us how to spend that grant to the last button.
Right.
But the way they want you to spend that money, it's their way.
Right.
They don't know the realities of our people.
And that's how we fall into problems like, if you tell me, I want to give you this grant and I want you to impact through gender-based violence 10,000 people, then I'll just hold as many conferences as possible and give you the numbers that you want. But did that really make a difference? For Starfish, it's the reverse. What I'm saying is, if I am starving, I don't need you to come and tell me what you need is food. I know that better than you because I'm starving. What I need you to do is 2 things. 1, show me where to find food. And 2, come with me if you can. And that's why I require that our volunteers live with us. Because you can't come and be at the hotel and then tell me what needs to happen in Daranka, right? But I have to apply those same things to myself. I can't go to Nyani Sukuta and tell them what to do. So the girl at Starfish from Nyani Sukuta has to go back, go to the Alcalo, go to the Village Development Committee, go to the chief, and then go to the women, go to the men, go to the youth. Have them tell them what the needs are and what the problems are, and together come up with what they think the solutions are. Then we add our knowledge base to it, and then we come and help you implement those solutions. So for example, if you say, you know, our women need to make soap and sell soap, maybe the first money for the soap, we will provide that. But after that, whether it's soap, whether it's another business, it'll have to come from the money that you've made from the soap. So then we become dispensable. You don't need us. We can leave and go back to Lamin and your business will just grow because we just came to accompany you, right? And in so doing, like, you were already empowered. I hate when people say, we're going to go to Africa and we're going to empower these women. If you know an African woman, you know you have met one of the strongest people you've ever met. They don't need you to empower them. We don't need to look down on communities that we think are poor. They're not poor, they're very wealthy. They lack money and material, but they're rich in knowledge, they're rich in health, they're rich in so many things that we could learn from. So that's what the chapters are. It's really going into Farafenni and saying, what does Farafenni think Farafenni needs because of Farafenni's problems, and how can we accompany you as you solve it? That way, if we quit, if we get an international appointment, whatever makes people leave, if that happens, you can continue. But if we come and we start something, and it's all centered around us, and then we leave, we've left with everything. And now you're more discouraged. So when another organization comes, you either want them to do everything for you, or you're just waiting for them to fail and leave so the next one can come in, which doesn't help us. So it's not received very well all the time with people, especially because we have international in our name.
Yeah.
They really expect us to come in and then give them money and give them good lunches and dinners and per diems and leave. And I say that is really looking down on our people, underestimating them and exploiting them, and I refuse to do that. So,
and it has worked anyway.
Absolutely. It has worked because the people from Nyani Sukuta, this is their project. The people from Lamin, even if I left and said, I'm going to live in the US, you can come to Starfish and never see me and still see the program. In fact, when you came, I was the last person you saw.
Definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
So the people have to be able to run it. And everything that everybody does at Starfish, you have to be training at least 3 other people to do it. I always say you can die, you can quit, and there should be at least 1 more person left to do it. If 3 people are not able to do every single job, it's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable.
Right.
That's a lesson. That's not sustainable.
Yes.
And 15 years into this, what is the end goal? What is the goal here?
The goal.
At the end of the day, what is Mam Yassin trying to achieve for herself, for her people, for her community, for the Gambia at large?
I am really wanting to show that service is at the core of who we are as human beings. That no matter what people say about Africa, about Gambia, about corruption, about the obstacles, that in our core as a people we are noble. And with a little bit of guidance and a little bit of example, we are small enough as a country that we can develop ourselves and be an example for the world, not just about material development, but spiritual development. That spiritual development is not just about religion and about who says their prayers and who doesn't. It's about from when you wake up in the morning to when you go to bed at night, what are the decisions that you are making that are completely between you and God? So a child needs homework help, and you can come and sit with that child and do the homework help, even though you have a test to go study for. That is a spiritual action that is just as powerful as if you did 5 rakas right there, right? Or if you went to church. That a woman is at the furrow and they need their bed made or they need water. And instead of going to the gym and lifting weights, you sacrifice 1 day as a young man of lifting weights and you go and dig that well for the furrow. That is a spiritual practice that shows who we are as a people, and it also supports our material well-being as a country. So I want to raise a critical mass of young people who are inspired by a spiritual development that shows up in material means.
That's powerful. And we want to congratulate you for this amazing work that you're doing here in Lamin, and also for being a role model to so many of us. You know, I've said it and I kept saying it. This, you know, growing up, this was it. Mam Yassin Sarr. I remember my dad, you know, every time, Mam Yassin, that's how everybody was raised. And my dad that was the example for him.
Right.
You cannot play, you cannot do anything. You just have to, because all we see is Mam Yassin coming from studies every single day from St. Peter's. That's what we were raised seeing and how we were raised. And that has been the example and the role model you have been to so many of us. And we also want to celebrate you, awarded so many times, you know, the TFN awards, you know, and so many other ways that you've been celebrated. We want to join everyone to celebrate you. And thank you so much for what you do. What's your final message to the young people, especially women, and to the government?
My message for everybody, I guess, is that you know, I wasn't playing because I was deferring it. I always tell young people, work hard now and you can play later. So if you see me now, I'm in my slippers and I'm just running around with these young people. Like, there is a time for everything. There's a time, you know, I never wore makeup until I was 32, I think. There is just a time, if you have a vision and a goal, there is a time for it. So figure out, what is it that you want? What is the price you're willing to pay? Have faith that if your motive is pure, if you have pure motive and pure intention, the resources you need will find you where you are and help you out. So that's generally for everybody. For the government and any funding sources, what I want to say is that I think that resources come to a people. God doesn't drop it from the ground, it gives it through a channel. And if you're in government, if you're in an office, if you're in an agency, God is using you as a vehicle. It is not for you to keep, it is not for you and just your people. It is for you to go out into the communities, find out who is suffering and who is doing the work and who can support them. And then take what has been entrusted to you and put it where it needs to go. If you don't believe in God, then the way the universe works is what goes around comes around. No matter how much you keep for yourself, if it wasn't meant for you, it wouldn't last and it would be useless to you. It will become more of a burden. So put the things that God or the universe puts in your way where it's supposed to go. And I think what I want to say about Starfish is that, yes, I am the face of Starfish, but the true heroes of Starfish are the young people that spend day and night developing themselves as an example for the world and for the country. They are my heroes. They are who inspire me. And I think that if we support young people, if our population is 60% young people, and if we don't try to use them, but we try to let them lead and be patient enough to guide them, then we are left with nothing but hope. At least I am doing this work full of hope, no matter what is happening in the world. I know that every day there are individuals who walk the earth who want to do for others before they do for themselves, and they inspire me every day. So I'm the luckiest person I know.
You definitely are. Thank you so much. And thank you for hosting us here. I just don't even want to leave, actually. It feels so peaceful here, actually.
You can come. You can come anytime.
It feels so peaceful and just so calm, and you know, and the air is so fresh and beautiful. I mean, you should all visit if you're watching this show.
Oh, can I just say to the government while we're talking about that? So this land was donated by an American family. And then when I went to the government, the GRA and the Ministry of Finance to sign the final paperwork, they want me to pay $250,000 in order to give me the final paperwork. And I'm saying to them, for the paperwork to be finalized. And I'm saying to them, I am not going to go to the West. Somebody's not going to give us this land, and then I go and ask for donations to pay my government for land that they should have given me in the first place to develop. So next year is our 15-year anniversary. I am going to get that paperwork signed no matter what, and I'm not going to pay a dollar for it, because it is not for me, it is for this country, and they should be doing their work for their people.
Definitely.
And if I'm going to have to be the one to do it, let the government officers get ready.
The director of the Commissioner General is such a supportive person. I hope he watches this. I'm going to cut this part and send it to him.
Yes, please.
They definitely should know that this is nothing that anybody should pay for.
No.
Government should be allocating land to programs like this instead of even buying it. So I think that's something they need to visit first.
Yes.
Before they can make any determination.
Exactly.
I think government should visit this place.
Yes.
They will be amazed by what is here.
Yes.
And I think that will make them have an informed decision as to whether even this place should be paying anything, but instead government should be supporting.
And it is for the whole Gambia. So anybody who wants a family, who wants to work hard and give back and learn some things that they can transfer into their own lives, they're welcome at Starfish.
They're welcome at Starfish. Thank you very much, Mam Yassin, and to the entire team. We feel so welcome here. And the restaurant team, I think they are my favorite though. I just love The
I thought the garden would be your favorite,
I mean,
but
I
the
love
restaurant
the garden,
is
but
feeding you.
yeah, the restaurant is feeding me, so that's what I'm feeling right now. But thank you, everyone, and thank you to your media team as well, and you know, amazing people. Thank you very much. Until we come your way next time, this is something we'll be doing. We'll be featuring very prominent women who are making a mark in our communities, and I think in 2024, this is my first show in 2024, and from here we'll be looking at other women as well. Every month, once a month, we will be looking at women who are really doing amazing, and of course, no other person to start with than my big sis, Mam Yassin Sarr. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for inspiring so many women. Thank you.
It's my honor.
All right, thank you. Until we come your way next time, good night to you all. See you again.
Embark Residency Estate is a gated community located in Old Yundum, proudly developed by Swami India, perfect for all looking for a quiet life with luxury amenities within an enclosed setting. When talking about the benefits of living in a gated community, safety and security is top on the list. They allow extra privacy, take away the hustle of unwelcome solicitors, and create a safe haven for children to play in a trusted environment without traffic or speedy vehicles. A great sense of community develops through the meeting at a controlled communal leisure facilities, offering an integrated lifestyle. A green environment and well-managed communal areas are keys to higher home standards, elevated quality of life, and better property value should you consider home reinvestment in the future. Added to all is the location, just next to the airport and reconstructed main road, yet tucked in the tranquility of nature. Our purpose is one: your satisfaction. Contact us. Let us help you build your dream home in the Gambia.
yiriwa men kafutan na tarambulolu to nga GIA cargo complex parendile pour que julaya sone yandi kadungoni mfunti bundana doko sembentu ya Banjul International Airport to men si nyafa si moluma melka fengolu ki bantala bankolu kan anin julandingolu fana foysi sulan na cargo doko le bang katu masingolu bembulule ikafo meye forklifts melka selendiro ni jindiro ke bagasolu la melbe funti kan waranto ka dunnan na warehouse lu kono nga dinkira sumayari ngolu fana sotole ifula milla fano mu metari kemeleti karo bela adun isi cargo bagasolu tano men sita fo ton tan woro ila sumaya fana futata tembeleto men ka fendolu mabono fo ikana tinya fo sene fengol lombang domori fengolu waranto jata kende ani bori ma fengolu kago bagasolu la taradula kendo asulata jamani labang korosir langolu lela na double view x-ray korosir la masingolu aka kago bagaso kono jubele komi kago doko sartolu ya landi nyameng nyin double view x-ray amu jamani labang rapid scanaleti men ka karafula korosiro keno kago sifa bela wati kilngo kono to na doku lalo imu ayata karandingol leti yela dokuo no iframansata kago dokuo na tamandiri nyato na dokuo la betea wayem futandi RA3 makamoleto mensatin na fo nse kago bagasolu kinole kata UK aning EU bankolu kan GIA ka hakili tenkungo dila na dokuo to ite nyina la men.
We are happy to announce the launch of our new logo. We have evolved since our incorporation in 1997, and it is time to refresh our new look to reflect who we are today. Before I reveal our new look, however, walk with me while I take you through our journey of the last 25 years. Trust Bank was incorporated on July 3rd, 1997, and began operations on October 1st, 1997. Following the collapse of the parent company of its predecessor, Meridian, the CBG stepped in and recapitalized the bank and held the shares in trust, thus the name Trust Bank. In 1999, the first investors who responded to the IPO and paid $1.50 per share received their maiden dividend of 50 bututs per share. In 2000, the bank fully paid back its investment. So, we remain true to who we have always been. As we look forward to greater achievements, we are rebranding to reflect who we are today and the future that we inspire. Our new logo has been designed to visually demonstrate our Gambian heritage and the sophisticated nature of the bank. We are moving away from the navy and gold-colored parallelogram-shaped logo to our baobab tree with a rising sun in the background. The striking outline of a baobab tree at sunrise is a familiar sight to anyone who has spent time in the Gambia. Our new logo and visual identity are inspired by our core values and spirit of being a pioneer in providing a unique banking experience. It is a completely new look that better matches the transformation we have made as a company. But we remain your Trust Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor to present to you our new logo and corporate identity.
Every day is a new opportunity to make sure our first impressions are always our best and to see possibilities on the horizon. To make our facilities and services more accessible and find freedom all around us. With a location proximity to active markets, with a liberal air transportation policy. That daily pursuit is how we turn everyday opportunities for you. For all destination marketing support, customized packages for new existing airlines and operators, and for a highly ranked tourist destination, the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority is here to serve. We regulate air transport, operate and manage BIA technical requirements, merged with commercial considerations. We have experienced and well-trained aviation professionals to cater for your needs. For investment opportunities in building airport hotels, shopping malls, playground for children, do contact us on 4472-831, 4472-893. Gambia Civil Aviation Authority. We go beyond daily.